This is going to be your guide to get ready for Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. So my plan is to beat the game as soon as possible. There's so much late game goodness I just want to get into, start making guides and enjoying myself with, but the story is kind of in the way. Now I'm not saying that the Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon story is bad, but the thing is you have to grind up your Pokemon again, you just have to kind of play through it. I feel that I'm not really going to lose any of the story experience if I just come in with some overleveled Pokemon and beat the game pretty quickly. Now there is something that will be in our way, and that's the focus of this video. Pokemon disobedience. That a traded Pokemon will be disobedient if it is a higher level than what you are able to handle, and that's kind of what I was hoping to just min-max in this situation. So this guide is kind of showing you my process for getting ready for Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and then also the Pokemon I'm going to be using for hopefully beating the game in the most efficient way possible. That yes, you could bring in a level 100 Pokemon, but the way that disobedience works in like current Pokemon generations is actually pretty interesting. From Generation 5 onward, a disobedient Pokemon will rarely ever attack. It appears that the closer the Pokemon is to the level of its trainer's maximum level, the more likely it is to listen. For example, prior to defeating the first gym leader, a level 100 Pokemon will almost always ignore its trainer. However, attempting to control a level 36 Pokemon, with the highest controllable level being 30, will have the Pokemon listen more often, but still occasionally loaf around. And that's kind of the plan that I have for this, is that I want to get the Pokemon that are in a nice little sweet spot, and then have them just kind of be obedient while still winning. So let's go and see what I have ready for this. Now, honestly, depending on what kind of trainer you are, you might be ready and not even know it. All you have to really do is just kind of use some TMs, get an optimized moveset in there, and you should be good to go. So if you're always just non-stop catching Pokemon, you have various levels of Pokemon in your Pokemon bank and stuff like that, it's really just going to boil down to the organization, and that's why I have this page up right here, because what we're looking for is just kind of playing with the trial completions and then kind of bouncing around there. So for Melee Island, pretty much what you have to do is just take all these names and then shift them up once, because we don't have the stamp yet, but we need those Pokemon to kind of complete the trials for the steps. So for example, Melee Island, we will need Pokemon under level 20 to obey us, and that's going to work just fine, because at the end of it, Hala, the Kahuna, he only has level 14s and 15s. So if we're using level 18s and we also have type advantage, we shouldn't really have too much of a problem. Also, up until the point of Hala, there are going to be a lot of weaker trainers in Pokemon, so because of that, we can just kind of rush to Hala and then beat him up pretty easily. So that's what I have right here ready for that, and it's mostly just going to revolve around this Espeon. Now, I ended up catching the Espeon as an Eevee on Route 6, and this was actually pretty good because we have Eevee, a Pokemon that evolves into a Psychic type that has an advantage against Hala that is also in the level sweet spot that we're looking for. Now, Eevee only has a 5% chance of appearing, but once it does, you throw a quick ball, and it shouldn't give you any difficulty to capture it. Just a little bit of time running through the grass until you get an Eevee, or alternatively, you could breed an Eevee and then get it up to level 15, 16, 17, whenever, and then you're good to go. So this is actually a really good time to talk about how disobedience can scale against you, because there's 1.5 times experience modifier, and I'm also starting to wonder if the Pokemon Company gave the boosted experience intentionally, and that's just to kind of make it to where it overlevels. It gains experience faster than all of your other Pokemon, which means it can level itself into disobedience. So what you need to do is you need to get a Pokemon that's under level 20, and if anything, a bit more significantly under level 20, that way you can kind of clear out the entire island and not have to worry about it overleveling and then being even slightly disobedient. It also looks like that the Pokemon Company, or at least Game Freak, they've been cracking down on trading over Pokemon to try to beat the game as soon as possible, which is why I feel this video is necessary, that you kind of have to plan it out really well, or else you could overlevel, or you could lose to some really interesting battles. Like Hala, there's no room for error. We have a level 15 Pokemon, but the max we can use is level 20. So I feel like in the 7th generation, they did not give you any wiggle room for most of the game to try to just trade over Pokemon and then make it work out. Also, it's like, who's going to have a decent level 16 Pokemon to trade for Melee Island to beat the game? That's why I chose Espeon, because it seems like the best Pokemon with the highest stats that's easy to obtain that you can just kind of use. So another thing that I did was I caught the Eevee, and then I just made it daytime. So fortunately, you can have Solgaleo or Lunala, you can go through the little wormhole, and then you can make it day or night, and then you just have to max the happiness. Well, fortunately, the Pokepelago is super broken. Pomeg Berry, Kelpsy Berry, you just get hundreds of these berries by just grinding it out over time, and then you can max the Pokemon's friendship. So I was able to get the level 18 Espeon without any difficulty. Then I taught it Psychic and Psyshock, and now I should be able to clear the island pretty effectively. Next up, we have Olivia. So Olivia is also where we start getting into like some interesting numbers. Now that we're in the Akala Island, we have up to level 35 in our favor, and Olivia is going to be using Pokemon that are around level 30ish. So again, we have a little bit more room. So we have 8 level advantage versus 5 level advantage, and it is going to be rock type Pokemon. So the idea is you get a water type Pokemon, and then it's super free low, and then you win. So also looking at some of the other Pokemon I have for Melee Island just in case, because again, I don't want to be using Espeon. If it over levels just throughout the story getting to Hala, I could be in trouble. So effectively, I'm just going to save Espeon for Hala, and then I'm going to primarily use Salamence. So this is the level 10 Salamence that you can actually catch on Melee Island, and I guess if I just use it from the beginning, it shouldn't have too much of a risk of overleveling while also being pretty powerful. And then I also caught a Mudbray. So Route 6 where I caught the Eevee, I have a backup Mudbray. It has Earthquake, so it has a high base power stab move, and it should do pretty well just in case. Now as for Akala Island, apparently I have the original GameStop Entei, and Entei, or any legendary Pokemon, or any Pokemon with a slow experience growth is going to be your new best friend, because if it's going to be gaining a slower rate of experience, it's going to be harder to level up, and then that means you're going to be able to kind of make it further before the Pokemon stops listening to you. So I gave it Flamethrower, Sacred Fire, Extreme Speed, Extra Sensory, and I think that should actually be a pretty solid Pokemon to use. If you want something that's going to be okay against Olivia, you can go on to Route 15. I found a Pelipper there. Now, unfortunately, Olivia is a rock type user, so being flying does make you susceptible to super effective hits. My plan is give Pelipper a couple of levels, make it like level 33, then try to one-shot everything with the Surf. But pretty much, like, you're in the Alola region. You're in a region surrounded by water. If you want to get a water type Pokemon that you can use against Olivia, you're going to be good to go. Also, Wishiwashi is going to be a pretty solid option as well. If you can get Wishiwashi around level 30s and stuff, it will be able to have its ability. So that gives you the ability to just shut down opponents, do a lot of damage, also be pretty bulky. And honestly, I should probably be using Wishiwashi over the Pelipper. Pelipper was just easier for me to catch, and then I was good to go. Also, I had a random Magmar, so again, like, you just finding the random Pokemon could still work out, and then you just use them in your favor like that. So this is going to be my Akala Island set. Magmar is going to be more towards the end. Unfortunately, I didn't plan out the Magmar super well either because, oh, rock type Pokemon versus fire type. So hopefully Olivia doesn't bother me. Actually, like, I have Pokemon that are all weak against Olivia, and I'm just hiding behind a Pelipper. So worst case, I might have to do something else about that. I could just go to my Pokemon Sun Moon, catch a Wishiwashi, trade it over if I'm unable to do it. But also, I will be leveling up Pokemon the entire time. So maybe I'll have, like, a reasonably leveled Espeon through the XP share, and then I can just kind of use Psychic and Psyshock to clean up the opponents if I need to. Next up, so the next one that we have is going to be for Ula Island. So we'll have the Akala Island trial completion, which means we'll have Pokemon up to level 50. So I have an OG level 50 Salamence. I mean, that moveset, how are you going to stop it? Flamethrower, Outrage, Draco Meteor, Earthquake. That's going to be very powerful. So once again, like, the island gives us a bit more breathing room that we have up until level 50. And Nanu, the Kahuna, isn't even going to break level 40. So we should be pretty good to go. Also just using evolved Pokemon. So if you have, like, evolved Pokemon or just high base stat Pokemon, it's going to be a lot better for you. So legendary Pokemon, they're like the perfect thing for this. High base stats while also having slow leveling, which means you're going to get a lot of mileage out of them. But fortunately, you can just island scan. Go to Pony Island, island scan, get yourself Serperior, get yourself a Samurott. These are just straight caught out of Pony Island, and then I ended up just giving them an appropriate moveset. Unfortunately, Serperior, it is not going to have the contrary ability, so I might have to, like, Z Leaf Storm and then back up on the Leaf Blade. I mean, that's still rocking a lot of damage and a lot of threat right there. And then Samurott's also really good. Surf Ice Beam. Done. I fortunately caught a Modest Nature, so I mean, that seems like it should be pretty solid. And then we also have the Salamence. It's mostly going to be able to take out Nanu, and then this should get me through the story. Nothing to pay attention to are the other trainers that you might encounter. So I checked out the Shady House. I mean, Guzma shouldn't be too much of an issue. Level 37, level 36. Serperior, again, trying to, like, plan your Pokemon well. Serperior is going to suck in Po-Town. That's because, look at this. We have, like, Golbat, Poison Flying. Yep, that's going to work when you only have grass-type moves. So, I mean, fortunately, I think we're going to get a lot more mileage out of Samurott here, just hitting everything super effective. Alolan Rattata, Alolan Raticate, that's why I gave it the Revenge as well. It's just kind of like playing into what I'm expecting to experience. Now, once we beat Ula Island and we go into Pony Island, we're going to have some fun. Up to level 65 on our Pokemon, which means most of my competitive Pokemon are just usable. That anything that I've been carrying around and using in, like, the battle spot should be just fine, because now we're dealing with level 50 Pokemon that that are EV trained and IV bred, and maybe even have like powerful items behind them. So one thing I've noticed is that choice item is gonna be really good, but Life Orb isn't gonna be that great, because even whenever you're just winning battles and knocking out opponents and stuff, you're still losing health to that Life Orb. So it's not like a competitive battle. In a competitive battle, that's gonna last a couple turns. If you're sweeping Pokemon with a Life Orb, hasn't won the battle or hasn't died in 10 turns, something really weird is happening. But when you're just kind of like grinding out wild Pokemon, grinding out normal battles and stuff, you're going to lose a lot more from that Life Orb. So Life Orb is kind of not the greatest thing, but at the same time, we have just an optimized Scizor. Technician Bullet Punch, I'm going to slap a Choice Band on it, and even at level 52, this thing is going to be able to do some serious damage against other level 50-ish Pokemon, while also gaining experience, while also leveling and then getting stronger. We have a legendary Pokemon, that Latios. I just have it just because Calm Mind Psychic's going to be pretty solid. And then I just have gimmicks. Like, if I can, I will just gimmick through the game. So Pony Island is going to be Fake Out Last Resort, just destroying everything with Ambipom. That's going to be pretty fun. And then we have Typhlosion, just Eruption. Massive amounts of damage, probably just Choice Specs Eruption, high level 60s. It might gain some experience in my overlevel. Not the worst thing that could happen, but overall, Pony Island, I'm not too worried. So yeah, it seems like Akala Island is going to be the most challenging, and that wasn't really too hard to set up for Melee Island. And then after that, we have Pokemon up to level 80. So this is where we start just bringing some legendary Pokemon, bringing some natural level Pokemon, and that's pretty much just going to be beating the Champion League. So I was thinking about some Pokemon that'd be good for beating the league. Yes, Rayquaza. I've got Kyogre, guys. Blue Orb, Kyogre, and the Primal Reversion shouldn't really have too much of an effect on that. So yeah, once I'm able to bring over level 65 Pokemon, we have Calm Mind, Waterfall, Ice Beam, Origin Pulse. So I mean, Blue Orb, Calm Mind, one-shot the entire league. That seems possible on the Kyogre. And then we have Lunala. So if at any point all of my Pokemon over level, if some shenanigans happen, I'm just going to be sitting on the level 100 Lunala. Also, I think it's probably a good idea to bring over money items. Like, all these Pokemon are going to be having an item. It might be a useful item, it might be a useless item. It's just one of those things that's going to help me start transporting items Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. So I'm double dipping right now. I'm going to be getting my competitive items into the game I'm going to be competitive in. I can also go and put like pricey items that we can sell it, have the revives. So worst case scenario, 3 Pokemon faint, I go into my level 100, it might be disobedient, but I can start using items to revive my other Pokemon. Maybe Lunala gets an attack in, experience share kind of carries me through, and then we should be good to go. So I think this is a pretty good battle strategy. Again, it's just going to be putting like competitive items on and then making sure everything's good. Like, I might just give the Magmar Mewtwo a Night X because I'm going to bring Mewtwo over for Move Tutors, and then when I bring Mewtwo over for the Move Tutors, we're going to have One Punch Mewtwo back and everything's good. So I'm looking forward to a lot in Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Since I have to make guides, since I am a YouTuber, I don't get to play the game at chill pace. I need to beat the game in a couple hours. I need to just absolutely shred it, maybe take a nap, start making the guides, and then we're going to be on track for Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. So if this guide helps you out for, like, understanding the intricacies. Because I really do find it interesting that Game Freak's like, nah, you might think it's a good thing that, trading a Pokemon gives you an enhanced experience, that way you can level up a competitive Pokemon faster, but for beating the game, it actually screws you over. I don't think many people have looked at it from that approach, and it is something that you will experience. So I have different sets of Pokemon for the different islands, / badges, / whatever obedience rating I'm at. And then we should be able to take out this game without any problems. So if you guys enjoy the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.